I'm somewhat of a collaboration, I think, with the school and with our communication department. Uh, I think they're, the three headliners. Call it for what it is, probably our three best players, and, I'm sure people want to hear what they have to say.
Kevin, with the way you never had to do with it, the rules are different now. You can play exhibition games in public. What do you think? What was your mentality kind of going into how you did it this year? And what do you think how it prepares you guys?
Well, last year we played a friend of mine who's the head coach at Colorado Christian, and we played Boise State in a secret scrimmage or whatever they're called nowadays. This year we wanted to just across the board just have a little steeper competition. The Boise game was good last year. I think opening it up to fans, making it feel a little bit more real. Unfortunately, this year we were super banged up in our first one, so we didn't we learned some, but we didn't learn what we really wanted to learn. But I think in general, honestly, I wish it was more like the NBA. I hate practicing for 8 straight months. I guess it's 4 or 5 straight months where you're just going against each other. Just in talking to a lot of the coaches, I think you get your own guys banged up. I wish we could play more just so you get different looks, different bodies, and things like that. So I'm in favor of them. I like them, and hopefully in the future we can get more of them.
What's the right zone?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know a lot of stuff about college basketball. I'm learning. Even this was different than it was last year. So I would be lying to you if I said we had some great formula. It was hey, good team wants to play us, let's play them. And so I don't know if I had to just take a first stab at it. I don't know. Could you do 4? Could you do 4? I'd feel better than practicing against each other every single day, I think.
What's something in college basketball that you like more in this sport than you did in the NBA?
Well, the NBA is really hard because of just how many games there are. I think it waters down health. I think it waters down the product. But it also makes it a war of attrition, which I think is it's very different than college. The best teams win in the NBA, right? You're not sneaking up on anyone in a 7-game series. The best team's going to win. And so I do like the fact that we have less games. I think it makes every game more meaningful. I think I'm a huge football guy. Football is awesome because, especially really in the NFL and in college, every game is a huge game, right? And I think that's similar in college basketball, and I like that.
Kevin, if you looked at all the high major leagues this year, there's going to be about 65 to 70% starting lineups will be newcomers, starting lineups. You don't see that kind of turnover. What do you think of the amount of turnover that's happening in college basketball and how it is to come in?
Honestly, man, I don't mind it. It is what it is. We all have our own journeys, right? I was a minor league coach for 9 years. I get new guys every 5 days, and this was before 2-way contracts. I remember, and I won't bore you guys with old stories, but we were in Erie, Pennsylvania, and Tommy Shepard, the GM of the Wizards at the time, called me. He was like, "Hey, we're calling up. I forget who it was. Your best player. By the way, he averages 25 points a game. Dude's gone. I got to go play a game that night, right?" So honestly, I've been used to piecemealing groups of teams together. Is it ideal? No. It changes how you coach. I think you have to do less. I think you have to be. I think you can't overwhelm the players because you don't have years and years and years to build all the continuity and so forth. And so it's kind of an adapt or die type of mentality. And until the rules change, I don't think it's going to be any different. So you got to figure it out, which I think everyone's trying to do.
Kevin, with North Carolina coming in Friday, another exhibition, do you want kind of the same approach that you had with Nebraska, or will the approach change at all? What are you trying to get out of this?
Yeah, it's going to depend on health, really, for us. Rob Wright was on a minute restriction in that game, so I chose to only play the starters together, which in a real game I would never do that. So it's really going to depend on health, but again, you only get 2 of them, right? So what's most important for us will be to try to, I think, sub it the way I would more of a normal game, but depending on the bill of health with not just Rob, we had 3 other guys that were completely out of that game. That's what it's really going to depend upon.
Is any of those guys serious, or is there any concern?
So we have at the moment, I think we have 4 guys that are out. I think 2 of them are not anything that we're overly concerned about. 2 of them are stuff that we're monitoring, and the guys aren't coming back tomorrow in that case.
What were some key areas of focus for you, Kevin, in roster construction this year compared to last year's team?
Well, once we got AJ committed and we knew he was coming, we pushed pause on all of our recruiting. We pretty much stopped recruiting any other high school player. I don't remember the timeline. Xavion was someone that we felt good about, but everybody else we kind of paused on, including like really, really good players in terms of 5-star guys, international guys, but they were young. So we wanted to prioritize, veterans. We want to prioritize shooting. We want to prioritize perimeter defense. And so that was kind of, if you look at the guys we brought in, Tyler Maruss, second most made threes in Big Sky. Kennard Davis I think has a chance to be one of the best kind of 3-and-D guys in the country this year. Nate Pickens is in that same ilk. Rob is an experienced guy that we felt we needed at the kind of head of the snake type thing to guide our group once he was in the portal. So that's kind of how that went down.
You guys had a plan with the portal. Do you almost like have a staff where you're kind of monitoring, other rosters in the country to see players if they do hit the portal? You guys are ready at the moment that they do hit.
Yeah, you guys have heard, those that follow our program closely. We really do try to operate like an NBA franchise. Not saying that's right, it's just what I know and it's what I'm comfortable with. Just so happens that what I'm doing now in college is a lot more like the NBA. And so, we have essentially a front office staff. We have, now hopefully the rules change where that front office staff, just like the NBA, can go out and actually live scout recruits and so forth. You can't do that at the moment, but yeah, we're pretty organized. We try to be anyway with staying on top of stuff. We not a whole lot of things. We try to not have a whole lot of things sneak up on us. Even now with rules of guys playing in the G League now, all of a sudden maybe could come play in colleges. So we and if you look at my staff, we have a lot of backgrounds that can cover a lot of different areas, and I think that is a strength of our group.
Kevin, you haven't ever shied away from expectations from the minute you stepped into Provo. Even this year, they're even higher than last year. Are you still kind of leaning into that? And is it, some people are saying Final Four or bust? Is that where you're at?
No, not at all. I want our guys to have a great practice tomorrow. Right, I want us to come in and get better from whatever film I show tomorrow, and then come back the next day and do the same thing. I know it sounds really cliche and coachy. That's how I live my life. That's how I've always coached, and I think that's the only way you can really get better. The good thing for us is we have guys in our program that, it wasn't all peaches and cream last year. We had to pound the rock. We had to stack day after day after day. And Richie knows that, Kaba knows that, Dawson knows it, Mihailo knows it, Jared McGregor knows it, all my coaches know it. And they're helping the new guys understand that's how we operate. I don't care if we're picked dead last, first, doesn't matter. That's how we do it, and I've made that very clear to our players.
Coach, as someone who's coached in the G League, NBA, you mentioned how, it's been in the headlines now, a G League player coming to the or back to NCAA. Does that rule make sense to you? I guess some coaches seem confused by it or don't agree with it.
That makes tons of sense to me because it's the exact same thing as the European players. I don't think that, it's literally the exact same thing. Now look, if you're an NBA guy that's on an NBA contract, the G League is no different than the Euro League. It's not the NBA. It's just not. Now, if you're on a two-way contract and you're on an NBA contract, you're an NBA player. If you're not, what's the difference of a guy coming from all these European clubs? So it's the same thing. So I'm a lot of things that make sense don't actually happen. For me, this actually does make sense. Now, if you want to strip away both sets of it, okay, great. But that's kind of how I see it. Yeah.
You mentioned Rob. He gets his kind of unofficial debut, I guess, it's just in the first half of Nebraska. But did you see anything out of him that either surprised you or maybe validated kind of the reason why you guys went in and got him out of the portal?
I don't think anything surprised me. I'm validated, yes, for sure. I mean, you know, I think it's in several areas. Number one, he's dynamic. I think he's one of the most dynamic guys in the country because he's so fast with the ball in his hands, right? And so, you know, obviously a lot of people want to talk about AJ, a lot of people want to talk about Richie, you know, and then all of a sudden you're worried about those two, and Rob just breaks his man down off the dribble and gets to the basket. You saw a number of times, even in the short stints he had in that game. And so, I mean, he's gonna really be a really important part of our team. And then not to mention, like, one thing I spend a ton of time on, and this is where the Nebraska game, we couldn't do this, and to your question about the Carolina game, I spend hours upon hours upon hours on lineups, rotations, who's subbing in for who, how can we, I mean, this was my job when I was in the NBA. Like, that was what I was tasked to do. How are we gonna sub Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and Chris Paul to optimize all those guys? So taking some of that, and Akash, my analytics guy who was with me in the NBA, he's here now. We're drawing comparisons to how we subbed it with Kevin and Book, and how can we do that with Rob and AJ and Richie. And so trying to optimize those lineups where AJ's off the floor, how can we sort of feature other guys and so forth. And Rob obviously plays a huge role in that, and that's why he's here.
How do you see Kaba evolving in year 2 in your program?
You know, I hate to say this about guys, but some guys are just true. Like, some guys are just gamers, and that's what he is. You know, he just, when the lights come on, man, the guy just takes it to another level. So I'm trying to tap into that more with him in practice, to get him to just bring that juice every day. I think he's gonna. One, I think he'll play more, right? I think it was hard to take him off the floor last year because he's so good defensively and he puts so much pressure on the rim offensively. So I don't know if I see him growing. Like, I don't think he's going to come out and start shooting step-back threes. I think you're going to see the same Kaba, just hopefully more of it. I do think his free throw shooting is an area we invested a lot of time this summer. He's a guy that's got to be able to knock him down at a higher clip than he did, and he's taken personal pride in that, and I look forward to seeing an improved free throw shooter.
Were there any other guys that took big statistical jumps in the offseason, Cable with free throws, but any other guys that took big leaps in their shooting?
I mean, I think Mihailo will, because I think Mihailo is going to be a lot less stressed this year. Like, he came in the game too many times last year and was really, I think, validating his success on shooting threes. And so I think he's now taking better shots. I think they're going in at a higher clip. So in terms of shooting, I would point to him. But in terms of stuff that isn't shooting related, I think like Richie's improved as a passer. I think his ability to find Cable for lobs and things like that. He had one yesterday at practice that was really impressive. So I think that's something he's added a little bit to his game. Thanks, guys.